The month of March is very interesting because, on one hand, you might feel like it's go time, like you've been doing a lot of contemplation of your next move, and you feel like you've been rearing up to begin this new chapter for a very long time, and it feels like it's time to go, and you feel like you should be going. But you also still might feel, one, tied to the past still by your conditioning. Maybe even your circumstance is tying you to the past literally. And also still uncertain about exactly where to go. You're caught between two chapters essentially, and it can be very confusing, just very uncomfortable. Like you just want to settle in somewhere, but the universe isn't really letting you do that. And if this describes you, it's okay. Because right now what's happening is a lot of people are becoming redirected, put where they belong in time and history and in their life on their path. And it just kind of goes like this. But anyway, welcome to this video, my friend. I'm going to dive a lot deeper. My name is Victor Oddo, and I will make these energy updates roughly once a week. This one's going to be for the entire month of March, a March forecast for 2026. It's a very important, pivotal, powerful month. And what I'll do now is I'll break it down into three more specific themes to help you more or less understand what you're going through. And of course, as always, make the most of it. Number one, as I said, you might feel caught between two chapters of life, two major macrocosmic long-term themes that one of them you want to explore, or you feel like you're going to explore, even if you're reluctant, and the other one you've been doing for quite a long time. And what's happening is this new chapter is basically saying that what has got you to this point isn't going to be the same thing that gets you to the next level. It's going to require a fundamental shift in your approach. And whatever that means for you, for example, for me, what grew my business online was hustle. I worked my butt off. I worked tirelessly. And I just never gave up. And I had that kind of like warrior spirit, where it had consequences. I would sometimes burn out. I would sometimes feel kind of distant from my family and just trapped in my head. There was a lot of stress and pressure. But like a warrior, I did what I had to do, and it worked. The hustle literally resulted in more income, more stability, more freedom, and it worked. And right now, I'm in this spot where I've been kind of cozy for a while in my business, kind of just like not needing to do it anywhere near what I just said to keep it going. But now it's like the chapter for me is changing, as an example. And I'm trying to do what used to work for me. And it's quickly being reflected to me that this is not going to work. This is not who you have become. The former approach was germane to who you were and what you needed and what you had available at the time. And now this next level is going to require a little something different from you because you're older, wiser, you've grown a lot. I'm speaking to you, not just myself here. So what do you think is being asked of you to shift, to adjust, to change, to modify, to tweak in terms of your approach to this new chapter? And just to speak upon the discomfort that can happen, because I've been through these pivotal points in my life, and I bet you have as well. And it can be very uncomfortable for the mind, the ego, that is always trying to feel what? Safe. Okay, we're good. We're secure. And in the midst of change, especially uncertain times, when you don't even know the change is going, the mind has a very, very difficult time settling down. And you might find yourself in this place like you're just thinking a lot. How am I going to go about this? What's next? What am I going to do? And you also might notice it's not really getting you anywhere, but temporary little ideas that don't really stick. And it's just to kind of, I say this just to have patience with yourself, because during these transitional times, a lot of times people will kind of fall back into old habits, and old thought patterns will kind of creep up, and it can seem like you're regressing emotionally and spiritually, which doesn't really fare well for you, forging on this new chapter that's supposedly supposed to like be a result of all the growth you've done and require you to change gears and all this stuff. So there's like this contradiction here. On one hand, the universe is asking you to step it up, to like be more evolved, to like be flexible, be adaptable, trust the process. On the other hand, because it's so difficult, not knowing where the heck the cards are going to fall, you're not doing any of that and you're feeling worse off because of it. Like, man, I know intuitively what's being asked of me and I'm not doing it. I'm doing the exact opposite. So therefore, I feel hopeless. I'm not sure this is going to work out at all. You might also have times where you think you got it. I know what all this has been leading me towards. It's this. And for 4 hours, you relax because you now know where you're going. Then you wake up the next day and you see your life and your situation from a completely different vantage point, and you're like, uh-oh, that wasn't it. And now you're hopeless because you were pretty convinced it was it, and now it's not it. And you're like, can I even trust myself? What if something else happens and I think that's it? I won't even be able to have faith in that because I'm likely to change my mind the next day. And again, the mind will continue to search for solutions to bridge this gap from where you are in the middle of 2 chapters to firmly implanted on the path you belong. Your destined, chosen, most aligned path, your highest timeline. Your mind is trying to get you there, I suspect, at this time. And it's uncomfortable. It creates this pressure. But the good news is this tension, like in a lot of areas of life, a lot of people, they don't like tension. But if you look around, you even look into nature, tension is necessary. Friedrich Nietzsche, he says, one must have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. You can use the chaos. It's like alchemy. You can use this uncomfortable, I don't know what's going to happen and my mind is racing type of vibe and frequency and experience. You can use, this is like a breeding ground for new ideas, a rebirth, just completely thinking outside of your normal paradigm, which is what's required to get you to that next level. The old ways of doing things aren't going to get you there. The old ways of thinking aren't going to get you there. But that begs the question, how do I think differently? How do I behave differently when I don't know? Well, the universe gives you all this tension to almost like force to the surface these new seeds of inspiration and guidance, which is what results from this pressure. Guidance into the new. It'll come forth oftentimes in a frequency, in like an experience of lightness amidst the chaos. And you'll know there's something here. You won't know what it is, but you'll know it. For example, I've been going back and forth. Like I said, I have so many different things I'm involved in within this one little YouTube channel has grown into like multiple different businesses, multiple different things I have my hands in. And for a time, all of them seemed off. Like, I don't know if any of this is going to be a fit anymore, And I've been kind of going back and forth, being asked to tweak all these different things. And just yesterday, I was feeling kind of like, I don't know, like really not knowing what's authentic, what's real, what's being asked of me. What do I want to do? I don't know was the answer to all of those questions. And I had something I had to do. I had to film this recording about teaching people how to speak, how to public speak and how to speak on camera. It's like a 50-minute video I made for my business coaching clients. And as I filmed that, I felt like a fire. I felt there was a frequency that came through. I feel it now filming this video, honestly, as well. So it's like that. These are my versions, but this has not been happening all throughout the day. It's like little glimpses of like, this is it. I feel it. So that is how we kind of navigate these times and know like how to start moving towards our true north, your true north, your destined path. You're going to feel it. You're not going to think of it and then do it likely, even though you're going to probably try a million times. It's going to be something that kind of unfolds and lures you in through energy, through resonance. This wise a shaman I once knew, he sat us down one time. We were when we first started running these these Costa Rica retreats, my friend Aaron and Pattie, we're like partners here, and we organize these retreats. We've done 12 of them, but at the time it was like we had just started. And it was this really interesting, almost synchronistic gathering of people. Like the shamans we work with, they're amazing, and they were kind of in between what they were doing and feeling kind of lost, and then we kind of were connected to them, and this massive aligned collaboration kind of came to be, and we all could feel it. We all could feel like the universe brought us all together. Me and Aaron were like the YouTubers that can bring lots of like high quality people, serious, dedicated seekers to these amazing shamans. Anyways, we were sitting around one time, and this like wise guy, this other shaman who like brought us all together. He like connected us all. We met him years ago. He said, I think we can all feel something here. A new path is opening. And it's not something you're going to see, but it's something you can smell. That's what he said. So he said, you can't always see the path, but you can smell it. And what he means by that is you can sense it. You can sense it now. I know you think you're lost. You will sense where to go, especially this month. Number 2, this won't probably surprise you. It's yet another month that's supporting an emotional purge. A nervous system purge, a purging of the past, which is sometimes what's blocking you from seeing clearly, blocking you from accessing these higher frequency downloads that can take you to the next level. A lot of times it's just like your antenna is cluttered and dirty from the residue of your past, your unresolved tensions, your traumas, the things that you've been kind of lugging around. And now it's like time to let those go. And you'll probably want to. You'll probably feel motivated to. You might even feel blocked. Like, you know what? I'm struggling to move forward because I'm distorted here. I can tell I'm filtering my now moment through the past. And it's creating these conclusions that I know for a fact don't make any sense. And yet that's how I see things. It's my truth, but I know it's not right. And this sort of awareness is like the beginning stages of waking up and like catching awareness to like these previously completely unconscious parts of your psyche. So it's like if that relates with you, you're like on the verge of, hey, what the hell are you doing here? You don't belong here, wound from the past. You're throwing out the whole. You keep my door of perception completely closed here. We need to deal with this. And that awareness, it's like it can't hide anymore. It can't pretend anymore, and get rid of it. Whatever you do. And if you want, once a month, my wife and I, we run these powerful transformation online ceremonies. We just did one last weekend. It was a somatic release breathwork ceremony. And if you want to be a part of that, I'm not saying you have to, but it's something that can help you. If you feel like there's stuck energy and you want to join something that's completely free, that will help you release it in a very profound way, there's a link below. Check it out. You can you put in your email and I'll send you the Zoom link and then the dates to the next session. All right. With that said, it's just a time to do that though. It's a time regardless whether you do that or not. It's a time to kind of just expect that and not fuss about it as part of it. It's a necessary thing. And, one time this person asked me when I told them, I said, like, I just did breath work recently myself for myself, like a few weeks ago, actually, a couple weeks ago. And I was talking about it at one of my coaching sessions, and one of the clients, they said, and I mentioned on the call how I'm always reluctant to do the breath work. And someone on the call, they said, was it because you're afraid of what might come up? I thought, oh, that's an interesting question. And I realized, no, it's not at all. It's the fact that I don't feel like sitting there for a half hour breathing in that manner. I'm out of laziness. But I say that because I don't have fear of what comes up. Because whatever comes up, it's like it's coming out, no matter what it is. So, and I know a lot of times people are like afraid of what they're going to find within themselves. And I get it. I've experienced upheaval of stuff I wasn't prepared for. But I know now that when it comes up, it's time to release. And that's a good thing, and it feels good. In fact, when I did that breath work on myself the other day, I went in with like a very specific intention, and then like what I ended up processing through was completely different. It took me by surprise. I went in wanting to like deal with like, feeling, having trust in the process, that kind of thing. What am I afraid of? This and that. And what I ended up doing, to my surprise, was like purging a lot of grief for my children getting older. It has been weighing on my psyche, the fact that they're all getting older, and it saddens me because all of our relationships have changed so much. I ended up just crying for like 20 minutes straight. It's crazy, like, blah. But it's like that felt so good. It felt good, man, to cry even as a grown man, to release, to sob, because for days after I felt like, whew, like I've been carrying around these dumbbells on my shoulders, and then someone said, "Hey, why don't you just put those down?" Oh, feels so much better. So it's a month for that. So I just shared that in case you have like an aversion to this. It's like, no, why don't you embrace it? Release feels wonderful. And finally, my friend, it's what's being asked of a lot of people is it's time to like reinvent yourself. And it's hard and it's scary because you were so finally getting used to the old you, finally becoming familiar with it. It offered you some type of safety and security and stability. And now it's like none of that's working. None of it feels right. And it's like it's like adolescence, like imagine going back to 7th, 8th grade, like how awkward that was. You're not a little kid anymore. You're not a teenager yet. Your voice is starting to crack. You're getting hair in weird places. It's like you break it out with acne, and all of a sudden you go from being like under mom and dad's wing to like realizing you got to fit in with all your peers and you don't understand them. Very, very awkward. And yet what's the result of that? You reinvent yourself. You become like a completely different version of yourself a year or so later. And that's kind of what's being asked of you. And that's the cool thing. The mind can't see what it hasn't already seen. The mind is completely limited to what it's experienced. And in a very unwise way, it tends to project that into the future as if there's nothing beyond what the past has offered me. But what comes to mind is this movie, American Beauty. Awesome movie, by the way, with Kevin Spacey. He's like Kevin Spacey in the movie. He's like a working stiff. He's like a people pleaser. He hates his job. He hates his life. His wife treats him like garbage. He's just walked all over by everybody, his boss, his wife, even his daughter. He's just like this doormat, no self-respect for himself. And this kid moves in next door and sells him a bag of weed for some reason. Smoking a little weed like gets this guy like thinking differently. I'm not like trying to hype up weed necessarily, though I'm not against it, but it was just like the ordering of the movie. And anyway, one day Kevin Spacey goes into his job and he like completely like tells his boss off in a way that also like sort of bribes him into getting an entire year's salary because he was threatening to sue. Anyways, so Kevin Spacey walks in there, tells off his boss, leaves, smoking a joint, driving home, listening to some like rock and roll music. Basically gets himself a whole year's salary. And he starts changing. He starts running at night. He starts working out in the garage. He starts hanging out with this neighbor kid who they become friends. And he lives as completely he does a complete 180. He's like completely like cool. And like he speaks up for himself and he just changes. And he said, anyways, after he walked out of that office, when he told his boss off, he said, it's so nice when you realize you still have the ability to surprise yourself. Remember that. You have the ability to surprise yourself. There's more to you than you currently know. And the universe is going to put you through the ringer in order to bring forth these other parts of yourself. Because they're there, you've earned them, and it's time.